Hello friends, my name is Vishal Gupta and I have taken up the course Introduction to Interactive Programming in Python, and this is my student video submission for week 1. Well, today we would be developing a code which is basically a magic code that you can use to amaze your friends and family. The name of this magic is Guess the Number and Age Magic. Well, the observer would think of a number, and then you would ask him to do various calculations on the number, and then finally you would guess the number as well as the age of the person. So this is a pretty cool magic that we would be implementing today in Python. So let's go to step 1. Well, the step 1 is that the observer has to think of a number between 1 to 10. For the purpose of illustration, suppose I choose the number 9. Then in step 2, the number has to be multiplied by 2 and 5 should be added to the answer. So 9 into 2 is 18 and 18 plus 5 is 23. I urge you all to simultaneously think of a number and keep going as we follow with the steps. Then in step 3, we need to multiply the previous answer with 50. The previous answer was 23. 23 multiplied by 50 gives us 1150. Then step 4 is crucial. Well, if you have celebrated your birthday this year, then you need to add 1764 to the previous answer. Else, if you are yet to celebrate your birthday this year, then you need to add 1763 to the previous answer. For the purpose of this example, say I celebrated my birthday this year in June. So I will add 1764 to the previous answer. That is 1150 plus 1764, which is 2914. Then step 5 says that I need to subtract my birth year from the previous answer, which was 2914. Say I assume that I was born in 1994. So 2914 minus 1994 gives me 920. Now, if you closely observe the number 920, the first number 9 denotes the number that we had chosen initially in step 1. And the number 20 denotes my age. Since this is 2014 and I had chosen my birth year to be 1994, if you subtract 2014 with 1994, you get a value 20, which is right now my age. So since you know this number, you can not only tell the person the number that he chose, but also his age. So this is how the magic trick works. Now we will try to implement the code in Python. For the purpose of the code, we would be slightly changing the steps to something new. So that the magic looks more appealing and it also looks more confusing to the observer. For this purpose, we would be asking the observer to provide us with the value. We would ask the observer to do step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. After this, we would ask the observer for his birth year. So note that we are not going to implement step 5. Step 5 would be implemented in our function. We would not ask the observer to himself calculate the value because that would make it look because this would make it look more confusing that he just told me a number and his birth year. So how was I able to tell him his age and the number that he had chosen? So step 5 we will basically write in a Python program, and then in step 6 we would be separating the two numbers. So let us go to the code. Okay, so the code is pretty simple. The code just has two functions, step and magic. Step would basically print what the observer needs to do, and magic would basically act as the computations for step 5 and step 6. So let us go and see what the function step is. So step is basically a series of print statements telling the observer as to what he has to do. So see, in step 1, you have to think of a number between 1 to 10. In step 2, you have to multiply the number with 2 and add 5 to it. Step 3, multiply the previous answer with 50. Step 4, if you celebrated your birthday this year, then add 1764 to the previous answer. Else, if you are yet to celebrate your birthday, then you need to add 1763 to it. And then you will ask the observer to tell you the number as well as his birth year. Now, for step 5, we have written a completely different function called magic. Magic would basically do step 5. If we go back, then we can see that step 5 was basically subtracting the birth year from the previous answer. So in this case, he would supply us two values, the number and the birth year. So we would subtract the birth year from the number, which would give us step 5. So that is basically what we have implemented in the function magic. So let us go on to see what the function magic is. Function magic basically takes in two parameters, number and birth year, which is what we would be doing our calculations on. So in magic, we implement step 5 saying that number is number minus the birth year. This is basically step 5. So after this, we would be obtaining a number of which we have to separate the first number and the last two numbers. So for the purpose of this example, I had chosen the number 2, and I had also assumed that my birthday has been celebrated this year. So if you follow step 1 to step 4, then the number that you would have in your hand is 2214, and birth year I have assumed to be 1994. So these are the two values that I am passing. So we already know that since I had chosen the number 2, the number chosen should be 2 and my age should be 20. So we need a means. So now in step 5, if you observe that number is number minus the birth year. If you subtract 2214 and 1994, then you get the value 220. Now for age, we require the number 20, which we need to obtain from 220. For this, we use the modulo operator, which is basically a function, which is basically an operator that divides a number by another number, and it returns the remainder of the division. So for this example, we need to divide the number by 100. So 220 divided by 100 would give me the quotient as 2 and remainder as 20. Now since I'm using the modulo operator, it would only return the remainder, which is 20, and that 20 would be assigned to the variable age. Now age contains the value 20. Now for number, if we had observed the quotient of 220 divided by 100 was 2. So basically we need a means to obtain the quotient. Now the quotient can be obtained by dividing the number by 100. So in this case, since the number is an integer and also 100 is an integer, therefore number divided by 100 would give us the value 2. But if you make a silly mistake like dividing number by 100.0, now 100.0 is a float value, so the number that would be returned would be 2.2, and 2.2 is not the number that the observer had chosen initially. So just to avoid this confusion, we use the double forward slash operator, which is basically integer division. So it would basically return the quotient in the integer format. So then we can go and print your age is age and your chosen number is number. So this is a pretty simple code that we can write and implement a magic trick. So I would now like to tell you all that if some guest or your friend comes at your house and you want to show him this magic, so how is the means to show it? Well, CodeSkulptor has a very beautiful option of hiding your function. So you don't want the observer to have any idea of how you actually performed this magic trick. So you can just go on the line number and click it. So it will hide the function. Same you can do with the function magic. It will hide the function. Now since both the functions are hidden, we can just go and comment this. Now I'll tell you all why we go and comment this last statement. It's because now first we are calling the function step. When step is called, let me just print the output so that you all have a pretty good idea of what I mean to say. Since step is called, it will print all the steps that you need to think of a number between 1 to 10. You need to multiply the number by with 2 and add 5 to it, and so on. And then you need to tell me the number and your birth year. Now observe that this is like the half part of the trick, so you haven't already printed the answer. So now the observer will tell you the number and the birth year, that you can just go and insert it in number and birth year. Once that is done, you just remove this comment and now run the code, and you would see that it displays your age is 20 and your chosen number is 2. So you'll definitely have a lot of fun making this and showing it to your friends and family. And I hope to have helped in some way. And thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.